Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Lost Horizon as we continue the heroic adventures of Fenton Paddock, the British Army officer turned smuggler who refuses to use a gun despite his background. In any case, so we got a lead on the eye, on the Dragon's Eye and the map. They're at this, I think the eye was in that package the Nazi officer was carrying last episode. And then the map is in the castle because it was moved due to some higher-ups mutzing around. But we've come here, the station is closed for repairs, and the castle is closed because obviously there's super secret occult Nazis there. And apparently it's also surrounded by squads that will kill me if we try to intrude, or so Mr. Train Station Attendant says. So now we gotta find out just how we're gonna do about this.
The Piri-Reis map is up there in Wavelsburg Castle. I need to get inside.
Yes, we're in
Unfortunately,
Paderborn.
the Nazis have sealed off the entire area. The station guard told me that all access routes are blocked, and the patrols are guarding the immediate surroundings. I'll have to find another way up there.
And the station is really dense, so we're just gonna work our way from left to right here.
It's a memorial cross. Seen better days. There are some candles burning on the pedestal in front of it.
I guess
There
we
are 5 candles here.
know where to go if we need a
I'm
fire.
sure nobody will mind if I take a candle with me.
Except that guy. Oh shit, he didn't mind.
A burning candle.
Never mind the fact that we're, desecrating this. Stealing from a memorial.
An axe. The station guard won't be happy if I remove his firefighting equipment.
We'll just have to start a fire.
It's a fizzy sweet dispenser. I need a coin.
The Eye of the Dragon. This artifact is supposed to be the secret to finding the second portal key that opens the gates to Shambhala. Viewing the Piri-Reis map through the eye is said to reveal the key's hidden location. Of course, to do that, I need to find the map.
Alright, so train station.
Wavelsburg Castle has its own station, but visitors are no longer allowed to visit the castle. This place should look more closely at the needs of its tourists. The station's being renovated, so everyone has to wait on the platform in the cold. Typical.
Alright, what else do we got here?
I don't envy him at all. He sits in the rain guarding an empty platform at a tiny, deserted station. But then, things aren't a great deal better for me.
Yeah, but ignorance is bliss, right? At least he's not worrying about the fate of the world.
Some facts on local history. According to this, the castle was built in the 11th century. The text refers to many renovations and extensions, as well as changes in ownership. Hang on a minute. This could be interesting. The mountain under the castle has an old tunnel system. Ore was mined there from the 18th century onwards. The lords of the castle used the passages of the mines as a hiding place or escape route during times of siege. However, the tunnels were closed down just before the war. That means there was once a connection between the mine and the castle. Maybe it still exists.
I'm sure it does. Alright, let's see here. Steel cable.
There's a thin steel cable hanging here.
Going
Those come in handy. If it doesn't stop raining, this barrel is going to overflow. My hands aren't dirty.
Do we put the burning candle in it? No. Rope.
This rope prevents the handcar from rolling onto the main track. It's tied tight.
Oh, we can fix that.
The candle flame should burn through the rope. The guard will have a fit when he sees the handcar roll past the platform. It would be kind of wicked to do it for no reason.
Oh my god, we need a reason now.
That's a handcar. They use it to travel up and down the tracks to change signals and whatnot. Must be a hard job. At least it looks like a downhill start. The handcar won't go anywhere as long as it's tied up.
8.
No idea. Could be a shed, or a garage.
Or the entrance to the mines.
No idea.
Oh, I want the chain.
This rusty old chain is keeping the door closed. Impossible. I can't get it off by hand.
We need an axe or something.
The sign's covered with a thick layer of moss. I'll try and scratch the moss away. There it is. 2 tools crossed. A hammer and a pickaxe. This is either a mine or the Center for Dyslexic Soviets.
I'm gonna go with Center for Dyslexic Soviets. That sounds interesting. Old carriage.
An old carriage sitting on the siding.
Lantern.
One of the train's rear lanterns. It's screwed securely to the carriage.
Okay. No. Okay, so now can we burn this? Now that we want to use it?
I should be then I'll have some.
Oh shit. He actually did burn it that time.
What the? Stop! Halt!
Dude, jump on it.
An axe.
We'll just take that.
As long as no one complains, do what you like.
Alright. And let's go see
It's
what's...
closed for renovations, apparently. It's closed.
Oh, really? Whatever. Let's chop this lantern off and then go into the mine.
It's good to get rid of some pent-up aggression every now and again.
I'm sure we'll need light in that mine.
The lantern's empty.
And boop.
I'll sever the chain. Then I can open the door.
This is how you deal with your problems.
It's pitch black in there. What if... According to the sign next to the gate, this is the entrance to a mine. And if I understand the text on the info board, these tunnels may have connected up to the castle at one point. It's got to be worth a shot.
Do we still... Oh, we do. Okay, so...
I'll put the candle in the lantern.
Now we can go in there.
Christ, it's a bloody maze down here. I've got no choice. It's my only way into the castle. Besides, in my experience, you find the most useful things in the queerest places.
Well, we should probably follow the tracks to start with. Although I'm sure all these are going to have, not... Okay, and I can't click. Seems like it's not letting me click too much beyond, what I can actually see. So yeah, without anything better to go on, let's just follow the track and hope we don't fall down or something. Let's see, where does this go? Dead end. Typical. Ooh, that would be useful. Another dead end. According to our examine tool, we don't see. I mean, it must be this one, right? Aha! Skeleton.
Poor guy. Let's hope I don't end up like him. This place is a maze.
And this looks more like a little sprite or something than an actual
There's
item.
an old dented pot lying here.
Wink. Thank you, Mr. Skellington. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. This looks more like what I'd expect to see in a castle. Ooh.
I think I've ended up in the castle. I never thought this would actually work. Lucky there's no one here. This is some kind of workshop. I suppose it'd be too much to ask to climb out of the mines and run straight into the map. Well, exploring never gets boring. That is what they say, isn't it?
I suppose this kind of makes sense, because then they could take, well, no, it's supposed to be a secret. Like, in one hand it would make sense, because then you could take the iron directly from the mine and bring it to a blacksmith for forging, but if it's supposed to be a secret, you wouldn't want to do that, but... Fuck.
There's a hook here.
Like...
A threaded hook that's been screwed into the wall. It won't pull out.
Then you twist it out. Oh.
I might be able to bend it or break it, but I can't pull it out of the beam in one piece.
Steel cable. Nope. Looks like nothing here combines yet. We might be able to find a tool later. What's
A
behind this
dusty
curtain?
old curtain.
Uh-oh.
An authentic German nutcracker.
Better keep this away from time.
I always wanted one of these old-style nutcrackers.
For those who don't get that reference, it's a reference to Yohosinki, where it's an anime where God takes on the form of a
A
nutcracker.
filthy mirror.
Okay, we'll take the mirror. Guessing that means a light puzzle. We'll have to clean the mirror and use that somewhere.
A fire's burning. Very cozy.
Especially since we are out in the rain. We'll take some firewood. Or...
This fire would be comforting if I wasn't deep behind enemy lines on a life or death mission.
Is there anything we can burn? No, not yet.
It's a hand drill.
Oh, perfect. Maybe we can use this on the,
A hand drill.
Nope. What else is there to look at? The chimney.
Nothing remarkable about the chimney itself. Far more interesting are the rungs built into the brickwork here.
Alright, let's take a look at them.
It's warm to the touch.
As expected. Let's actually go back to the secret door for a
I
second.
think I know how to get to the station, and I've seen all there is to see in the mine. I'll take the quick route.
Good.
I've already found another route to the castle.
Oh, so that just shuts us off from the village, okay.
I think I know the route pretty well now. Nothing interesting left in the mine.
Well, I guess we aren't seeing the village then. Oh well. Time to go up.
How are you coming along with the inventory?
Nearly finished, Herr Feldwebel. I still need to catalog the objects from Berlin.
Okay, but it is essential that we finish the inventory today. The remaining exhibits will be arriving from Berlin tomorrow.
Jawohl, Herr Feldwebel.
Alright, so he's probably got the map then.
Did he say inventory? Maybe it says where the Piri Reis map is stored. If only I could get a look over his shoulder.
I mean, you could tiptoe up there. No, he doesn't want to tiptoe up there.
And I always thought I was the one carrying too much weight. Huh, I joke, but seriously, I ought to get down the gym. I can't lug an entire set of armor around with me for 3 reasons. First, it's dead heavy. Second, it'll make me look silly. And third, this is supposed to be a stealth mission. I'll just take the gauntlets, because they're cool.
Alright, tin soldiers.
Tin soldiers. They look pretty old. I'll take some with me as backup, in case I get caught.
Probably melt that down into something using the forge.
A candlestick without a candle. So, just a stick then.
That. Let's see, what else? Wild boar
A
pelt.
boar pelt. Well, it's not Argali, but it'll do.
I bet when he gets like his own place that's not a little, that little hut he has at the airport, he's gonna get all his furniture made from like argali leather or something.
A small wooden table. Moving it would make way too much noise.
Okay, so mirror.
Mirrors like that reflect light onto the desk they're positioned over. Not much use to him after sunset, but it might let me get a look at those documents if I wasn't so far away.
Ah, okay.
He's working on an inventory. If only I could get a look at it. It might be a nice shortcut to the Piri Reis map. Could save me trawling this castle for the next 3 hours. Probably won't.
No, because we'll trawl 3 hours to get a look at the map, and then trawl another 3 hours to...
He's studying a map. As long as he's occupied, I don't really care what he's doing.
Okay, so I get the outside. Crack in the wall.
A huge crack, though by no means a crevasse. Thank God.
What can we
It's
do
a
with it?
long, thin crack in the wall.
Doesn't quite help us yet, but yeah. Take a quick look outside.
Nice view.
Ooh, very nice view, actually. I like it. There's the little village we skipped, and Nazi guards.
Nazis. I hate these guys.
Who doesn't hate Nazis?
A tower. Nazis. I hate these guys. It's a tower.
It's a tower.
A
Chimney.
chimney. Believe it or not, I can't reach it from here.
I can't believe it.
I can see a few houses down there. That must be the village of Buren the guy at the station mentioned. It's too dark and I'm too far away to make out any details. There's probably a lot fewer people who'd be happy to shoot me on sight down in the village. But what can you do?
Only the map was down at the village. Alright, so there's not much to see up here. A telescope. Oh, no, telescope. There you go.
Telescope mounted on the railing. I see trees. The telescope's pointing toward the forest, and I can't turn it. It seems to have rusted. The telescope's attached with a metal clamp. Maybe I can loosen it with the drill.
Like,
It's obviously been exposed to the elements, but it still seems to work.
alright, so now let's go to the workshop. I think I have an idea here about what we're supposed to do. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the
I'll need
cleanest?
more than water to get the grease off.
I guess we can get this wet.
I'll dip the pelt into the water. That should do it.
Not quite there. I need something to dissolve the grease.
Okay, we need a grease dissolver. What do we have that could dissolve grease? Drill, gauntlets, tin soldiers, candles. There would it be like hoppers or something maybe?
I've already found...
But we could go into the village and buy soap like normal people and not steal it. Alright, to the passageway.
I can hear voices in that direction. Better steer clear.
Let's not go to the passageway. The workshop?
This I could probably use the pelt as a fire blanket, but I might need the fire later. I'll make a mental note to come back to it.
Okay. I don't suppose we could just burn the grease off.
It's warm to...
Yeah. Cracker.
It's a traditional nutcracker. The lever on the little man's back opens his mouth. Insert nut and close mouth.
Did he?
Can't help but feel I'd look more dashing with a sword.
Hey, axes were pretty decent weapons, though.
There's a hook here.
Don't think we have anything to really go with the hook yet, though. See if we can combine any.
Not quite.
All right. See if we can combine anything in our inventory. Can't quite use the pellet yet. Telescope. Be able to combine with the mirror, I think, once we. Or do we even need it? Maybe I'm overcomplicating the puzzle.
It's working. I can make out the documents large as life, but... damn it. They're back to front because of the mirror. I can't read it like this.
You could read it one letter at a time. Oh, well, to be fair, that would be really hard to read backwards in a foreign language. Let's see, no more exits here. Mirror, soldier. Anything go? Let's see, we can't use the candle holder. No, I don't want to go outside. The workshop. Maybe we could use this on the hook? No. These are going to go in the
I
pot.
hope you like your new home, guys.
Probably put this in the pot too, but for sure we can use the pot to melt these.
Sorry guys, but sacrifice is just an intrinsic part of war. That was quick. They've melted down like butter.
Yeah, this reminds me of a puzzle from Buried in Time. So, but we don't have like a mold, do we?
I'll pour some of the molten tin into the hollow in the candlestick.
Okay, so
I've poured some molten... It's hardening pretty quickly. Actually, I can take it out
be
already.
fucking hot. That's. So what do we?
A burning... I've poured some... It's hardening pretty...
Yeah, but what does that get us though?
Don't ask me how I did it, but I've bored out the solidified tin. It's now a lovely round shape. Almost like a coin, you might say.
Okay, so
What do you know? It actually worked. I could make a mint. Get it? Because I'm making money to use in a sweet. You know what? Never mind. 4 fizzy sweets fell out the bottom. The station.
alright, so can we combine?
These fizzy sweets contain sugar, citric acid, flavoring, and coloring. Yum.
Well, we don't need the sugar, but we could use the citric acid.
The sweets will probably dissolve in the rainwater. I'll pour some water into the pot.
Ah, I see. So,
The sweets are dissolving in the water.
and now
I've
do
soaked
that
the pelt with lemon water.
and degrease.
Spick and span.
Alright, that puzzle's solved. So now we could blanket
I
this
could
fire.
probably use the but I might need. I'll make a.
Oh, he still wants to use the fire. Okay. In any case, we can put this up on the small table.
I'll put the mirror down gently.
And can we use this to focus onto that mirror yet?
It's working. I can't.
No, we gotta move the table.
Moving it would. I can't see anything in the mirror apart from myself. Fascinating though I am, preening myself isn't going to save the world. Maybe it's just too low. I'll, put it back in my pocket?
Yeah, let's do that. We need to raise the mirror up, so can we... What? Can we combine this with anything in our inventory right off the bat? Oh, you know what? Ah, okay. Okay, so that's what we use the, we still gotta get this hook out. But we can use that hook with the steel cable to maybe hang the mirror, and then we can use the,
Of course. I can just use the nutcracker to unscrew the hook. Why didn't I think of that before?
oh my god.
I'll jam the hook into his mouth, and then unscrew it like a pair of pliers.
Okay, now we can go up and put this into the crack.
I'll screw the hook into the crack.
And then we can... Oh, maybe we just hang it on there directly.
Okay, I'll hang the mirror up here.
Oop. And now... Voila!
Praise be the laws of optics. I can make out
He
every
looks so
word.
silly.
If the soldier would just move his hand a little to the side, then... Perfect. There it is. Exhibit 104C. The Piri-Reis map, stored in the crypt in the North Tower. The problem with answers is they always give rise to new questions. Where the devil is the North Tower? According to the inventory list, the Piri-Reis map is in the castle's North Tower, but without the sun, I have no idea which direction that is. I need to work it out. I don't have time to waste.
I would guess the northern tower would be the different one, but can we go here now?
I can hear voices.
Oh. So we're kind of just stuck out there, huh? And we put out the fire now?
I could probably, but I'll make a...
I don't know what else we'd use the fire for at this point. I don't know what else would tell us which tower we have to look in without the sun. I mean... It's really...
The inventory list but which... I need to find... A chimney. Believe it or not, I can see a few houses down. It's too dark. There's probably a lot...
I don't think there's really anything more we can do. Sure.
An old...
That's just the sign that it's the mine.
Wavelsberg Castle. The station's being... It's closed for...
Letting that stop you.
I've already found another route. I found my way into the car. I'll have to go back through...
The info board have anything on?
I've been through it.
No. Okay, so let's start looking at what we can combine. I think we're done with this except as the aforementioned fire blanket. Okay, good. Do it like this now. The pot, we can't combine anything else. With the empty candle holder, we can't take the candle out. Although, maybe now that it's detached, we can use the,
That's better. Now I can make out the individual buildings.
What about the
village church? Wait a moment. Churches always point west, don't they? With the altar in the east. The main entrance is facing away from me. So... Looking at the church, the two small towers to my left and right must be on the east-west axis. So the north tower must be on the other side of the castle. But how am I supposed to get all the way over there?
Okay, so basically we figured out what we already knew as a player. Now can we dampen this fire?
I think I can safely put the fire out now. I'll just throw the skin over.
Alright.
Great. The fire's out,
Now those
though it now smells like a wild pig's marital sty in here.
Ugh. Should be able to use these to climb the ladder. Or not.
Now the fire's out, I can see the ladder rungs more clearly. They definitely lead up to the roof. The ladder rungs.
Yeah, so we use the gloves.
The gloves should protect me from the heat,
Yeah.
climbing up the chimney to steal people's treasured possessions. I'm like the anti-Santa, only trimmer. Luckily, I'm not afraid of heights. Or as we've established, anything at all. Apart from our Garleys. And Kim, when she's in a huff.
And the occasional Nazi. Oh, let's head out. Actually, let's...
That must be the North Tower, where the Thule Society is storing its research. According to the inventory, that includes the Piri-Reis map.
Right then, let's watch him slowly catwalk his way over to the North Tower. Honestly, if it weren't for the rain and wind, he'd probably have an easy go of it, since it looks like a decently wide roof. Like, not too wide, but I think he could walk across that comfortably if he didn't have the wind threatening to knock you off. And hopefully he can break in through the window. Looks like they're unlit, so hopefully that means
I'll try to
people
get in
aren't
through one of the windows.
in there.
Okay, I've reached the North Tower, but I don't see any ancient research objects or artifacts. The inventory said the items are kept in the crypt. Thinking about it, this doesn't really look like a crypt to me. It must be one floor lower. I'll have to find a way down.
Only one floor, huh?
A round stone slab with some kind of occult symbol. This slab's separate from the rest of the floor. I can see the seam running along the edges. That said, I can't lift it with my bare hands.
An elevator
The
sorts,
North
maybe?
Tower Crypt. This is where all the Thule Society's research objects are supposed to be held. I've got to get down there. A massive chandelier. I can't reach it from here. This chain connects the chandelier to that crank. This crank lowers the old chandelier. They must have used it for lighting candles back in the day.
Oh, it looks like a very new crank. Let me guess, it's stuck.
Let's see if the crank handle still works.
Huh. Refreshing change of pace.
The chandelier is now lying in the center of the symbol on the floor. It's damn heavy. I ought to use the crank if I want to get it back up.
Can we light it?
The chandelier...
It doesn't help us much at the moment, so let's go through this door, except we won't because it's locked.
It's locked.
Oh, we can fix that. Move to the side. Really? We can't just bash our way through? Okay.
The North Tower... I've got...
The symbol doesn't mean anything to me right
The North... I've got...
now. Maybe this might be rotated somehow, like these lines might be the lines in the floor, but at the moment it doesn't say anything to me. But for now, I feel like the chandelier is part of the puzzle, but I think we can do anything to it right now. Oh, do we use this? Is there any chance we use that to lift this slab up? Here we go, hand drill.
Let's attack this thing.
35 minutes later, holy shit. With the
I've drilled a small
hand
hole.
drill, too. Wow. Respect. Oh. I think I have... I need this back.
I'll take it down again.
Oh, not the mirror so much as the hook here.
I'll unscrew the hook.
Boop. Okay, there we go. Now, up the rungs. To the tower. Put the hook in.
I've screwed the hook into the drill hole. It's lodged pretty tight.
Man, good thing he has a tap on this thing too, in addition to the drill. Steel cable. I guess we'll just do this in one go.
Fenton, you old dog, you've done it again. The chandelier's attached to the hook, which is screwed into the slab in the floor. When I turn the crank, the whole thing comes away. Shame there's nobody here to congratulate me.
I was going to use the wire, but okay.
Ah, there's a cable here. Maybe I can climb down on it. Hopefully it'll take my weight. Looks like I'm in the right place, finally. Not that I'm complaining.
Alright, boxes everywhere. Cable.
I climbed down on this cable. Lucky it held my weight. I'm not leaving without the map.
Oh, let's start looking through everything.
There's a sort of dossier on this podium. I'll just skim it quickly. It outlines the Thule Society's central objectives. According to this, the Society was founded in the early 1920s with the aim of restoring the knowledge of lost civilizations for its own use. The Thule Society's influence extends into the highest echelons of the German Reich. This gives them complete carte blanche on their activities. They can do whatever the hell they like. Seems they launched a project codenamed Vril under the direction of our old friend, Countess von Hagenhild. The focus of this project is the search for Shambhala. The Thule Society believes that a vast store of ancient knowledge is being hoarded there. The source of morphogenetic fields. Morphogenetic fields? Never heard of them. But then it does ring true with what Professor Hayes was talking about, a store of ancient knowledge. If I remember the professor's description correctly, the hunters and herders of Shambhala suddenly developed into a flourishing and highly advanced society. Hayes reckons some sort of mysterious energy was responsible for the tribe's development. Is that what they mean by morphogenetic fields?
Alright, can we do
The
anything?
documents are under lock and key behind a thick sheet of glass.
We can fix that.
Not a good idea. I might trigger an alarm. Not a good idea.
Well, do we need the documents?
Must be more of the Thule Society's artifacts and research objects. It could take days to search all these boxes for the Piri-Reis map.
So obviously he's not even
These
gonna try.
documents contain the research results of a scientist by the name of Aldrich von Hagenhild. Must be some relative of the Countess. Von Hagenhild spent his time searching for the world soul. Christ, can't these people just use sensible names? The basis for von Hagenhild's research was the concept that for an organism to develop as it should, there must be some immaterial power steering it in the right direction. Basically, an invisible blueprint determining form and growth. So, why does a rabbit develop the way it does? And why does a pine tree become a pine tree? Who's the architect? What tells them to grow bark? Or fancy lady rabbits? Looks like these questions led von Hagenhild to believe there was some invisible, imperceptible field that controls the development of an organism. He called it morphogenetics. Von Hagenhild explains the holistic aspect of self-organizing systems with his theory of morphogenetic fields. Basically, The field stores forms or behavioral patterns that every member of a species draws from and adds to. This was his Western take on something the East had known for some time. In Far Eastern philosophy, people refer to his morphogenetic fields as the divine essence of nature, or as the soul. He thought he'd identified the soul. He didn't think the soul was a spiritual thing. He thought it was a fundamental principle of nature that had been warped and confused by religions the world over. He even thought he had proof. He refers to certain experiments he carried out. Ugh. This is a lot of information to take in. Von Hagenhild really believed that in these morphogenetic fields, he'd identified the soul, the central power behind all living things.
Something must have happened to him, though, since we have Countess von Hagenhild carrying on his work.
These documents refer to several experiments which are supposed to prove the existence of morphogenetic fields. Von Hagenhild wanted to prove that every species obtains its entire being, its form, its instincts, from these fields, like some kind of collective memory. These inherited memories control not just the form, but also the behavior, the capabilities, and the knowledge of the relevant species. He called it a group soul. Experiment number 1. The rat experiment. The experiment investigated the capability of rats to find their way through a maze. At the beginning of the experiment, the rats needed 165 attempts before they could get through the maze without a mistake. But a few rat generations later, the number of attempts had dropped to 20. Conclusion. The first batch of rats learned how to navigate the maze, and this instinct was somehow added to the rat's group soul. When later rats navigated the maze, they somehow had access to this ancestral memory, even if the rats weren't directly related. Experiment number 2. The ape experiment. 2 ape colonies of the same species were isolated and observed on 2 small islands in the Indian Ocean. Von Hagenhild's team taught the apes on one island a few new behavioral patterns. The other colony was left undisturbed and uninfluenced, so while the apes on the first island are learning how to open tins and the like, the others are eating bananas. Several months later, the apes on the undisturbed island began displaying these new skills, even though they'd never come into contact with the other colony. Von Hagenhild's conclusion: all members of a species are connected by morphogenetic fields. They share a subconscious collective memory. He thought this theory could explain a lot. Animals' sense for impending danger, telepathy, sixth sense in humans. Von Hagenhild also concludes that members of a group can learn something new at a far quicker pace when the vast majority of members of that same group have already acquired the knowledge. These fields are basically stores of information that are effective across space, and in rare cases even time. Von Hagenhild presumes this would go some way towards explaining premonitions. Human beings sporadically accessing morphogenetic fields from varying points in the future. It all sounds very far-fetched, but then it does explain a lot. Supposing morphogenetic fields really exist, they'd be the answer to problems science has been trying to solve for centuries. And if all these fields add up, if there's some kind of central repository of all this information, Christ, it'd basically be the scientific definition of God. I'm beginning to understand why the Thule Society's quite so interested. And if there's even the slightest chance it's all true, why they need to be stopped.
Okay, now it makes sense. So basically, Shambhala, Shangri-La, whatever you want to call it, is the repository of all these morphogenetic fields, and the Nazis think, because they think they can access them through time or something, that they could basically look into the future and see future technologies and then put those into use now, invent them now, to help them with their war effort. That's what I'm getting out of here, at least.
Must be more of the Thule Society's up. It could take...
Yep, he doesn't want to search anything, so we'll read through this.
Is this the Piri Reis map? It's hand-drawn, ancient. There are some notes next to it. Finally, von Hagenhild became convinced that there must be a type of definitive field from which all other fields are derived. All manifestations have an origin. He tried to back this up with historical evidence. A world soul, for instance, had been proposed by Plato over 2,000 years ago, but what really convinced him was the discovery of an old mysterious map of the world, drawn by the Ottoman general Piri Reis. I knew it! It's the map! Let's see. Further on in the text, von Hagenhill discovered that the general had drawn up the map in the 16th century, using sources which were thousands of years old. But how could they have known at that time what the world looked like? He posed the theory that a civilization had existed then, which possessed extraordinary knowledge and skill. He discovered a marking on the map, which was written in an unfamiliar language. Research in Far Eastern libraries revealed it was a long-forgotten Tibetan script. Once translated, it claimed the marking indicated the source of all knowledge, the center of the morphogenetic fields. It was a hidden valley in the Himalayas, Shambhala. Shortly before he died in 1934, von Hagenhill passed the responsibility of continuing the research onto his daughter. Professor Hayes was right about everything. The Thule Society arrived at the exact same conclusion as he did. They were just one step ahead. Lucky I'm one step more. Richard used the first key to pass through the gate in that secret room in the monastery. I just need to find the second. The Nazis can't enter Shambhala without it, and as it happens, I have the eye, and I have the map. I just need to use them to find the location of the second key. My last hope of finding Richard is based on an ancient legend. Great. It's time to cross everything I've got. And I mean everything.
Alright, so let's do this.
Fingers crossed. I've come all this way, but I'm still a little surprised it actually worked. The Piri Reis map really is the map of the Guardians of Shambhala. Or at least it was drawn to their specifications. So Professor Hayes was also right in thinking the priests of Shambhala took the second key artifact to India and hid it in a temple there. And now I know exactly where to look. On the Kathiawar Peninsula, just north of Bombay. Thinking about it, I actually know the commander of the British regiment in Rajkot. If the old drunkard hasn't been transferred for disciplinary reasons again, I'm sure he'll lend me a hand. Or at least a decent bottle. Then, I'll just have to find the temple and get hold of the key artifact. What could be simpler?
Oh, we don't have to escape from Nazis, right? Oh, we're actually flying Lufthansa. Iagway. Asian Airways system. Karachi, it's Pakistan, I think, and then Bombay, India. And north there to the Kathiawar Peninsula. Chapter 6, The Eye of the Tiger.
Looks like the road ends here. This village is supposed to be the last settlement. Other than that, there's nothing but thick jungle in every direction. The commander of the local troops led me this far, but now I need to quiz a local about the temple. I have no idea where it is. Hello? Hello?
Jesus, where is everyone?
Looks like this place was abandoned pretty recently. Hello? Is anybody there?
The Nazis can't have been here already. Can they? Damn it. I'll have to find the temple on my own.
I mean, they've had plenty of opportunity to use the eye already, so I wouldn't be surprised if they've been here. Did we pick up the wire? Did we ever use that? I don't think we did. Trying to think, but I don't think we did, so what was the point of that? Maybe there's a puzzle if you went to the village first, but maybe there's like an alternate path from the village, but in any case, bloodstains, that's not good. Although the feathers could mean that it was just chickens, maybe, that they were killing and then turning into meat. But in any case, this seems like a good enough place to leave off. So thank you all for watching and stay tuned for next time, and we'll see you then.